Good morning, Bonneville County. You have just joined breakfast with Senator Cook. I am Idaho State Senator Kevin Cook from District 30, but now it's District 32 due to the redistricting. I serve on the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee, the Senate Education Committee, the State Group Insurance Committee, and the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education Committee. And so those kept me really busy this last session. I do this every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'm a little late this morning. Sorry. We've had our caboose, our youngest daughter, just got married, and so we had a reception last night and had family and friends all in, and so they came here for breakfast and didn't realize what time it was. So I'm sorry for being late, but it is good to be with you. If you have questions, please put them out there. Please do it. I would love to try to answer your questions online, and we'll see what we can do. If you can't get online and you hear this recording afterwards, feel free to text me, email me, post it, whatever is best for you, and we'll get back with you on some of the questions. I think Idaho is the greatest state in the nation. I truly believe that. And so I always like to start off with a little trivia question that kind of shows how awesome of a state we have here, and get you to know a little bit about Idaho. And some of it's nonsense, doesn't make any sense at all, but it's kind of fun. Give you something to talk about when you're standing around the water tower at work. Anyway, to start off, the Idaho National Laboratory, of course, is the world leader in nuclear research. That's given. They have, last number I heard, I believe they have over 500 people with doctorate degrees that are researching how to resolve our national energy crisis and our problems throughout the nation. So there's some really smart people right here in Idaho Falls doing some incredible work in our backyard. So my trivia question is, over the lifetime of the laboratory, the INL, how many nuclear reactors have been built and ran here? Okay, how many? Have there been 10, 35, 52, or 78? How many nuclear laboratories or nuclear reactors have been built? Okay, there's my big question. Okay, all right. Let's see. So it's been a big week. It's been a busy week. Campaign season is heated up and going, and trying to go around and get to know everybody and find out what their issues are and talk to them and hopefully get their vote. It's been a lot of fun, though, getting to know people from all kinds of different professions, and it has been a busy week. Maybe the first thing just to throw out there for you is Happy Earth Day yesterday, kind of exciting, and coming up on the 29th, so what's that, 6 more days? On the 29th, we've got the Arbor Day. And this is something you might not know about, but in Arbor Day, so the Idaho Department of Lands are giving away free seedlings to all the people in Idaho, okay? If you would like one, so on April 29th, or I think just leading up to the 29th, the Idaho Department of Lands is giving away free seedlings. And you can, here in Idaho Falls, you can go to their department, or you can go to Home Depot. Home Depot is the place you can pick up your free seedling as well. And so that's kind of exciting. You can get there and get you a free tree. Might take you 50 years to grow, but you can get you a free seedling. So that's Arbor Day on the 29th. Okay, so one of the really exciting things I did this week is I got invited to a 4th grade class. And let me tell you about this. As you know, I am really passionate about education. Okay, education is our future. We get a really bad rap here in Idaho about education, and some of it might be true, but it is not true that we don't have some of the greatest teachers here in Idaho. We do. We have some incredible teachers that put in unbelievable time in their job in helping our kids. And I just want to give you an example of this. So this is, let's see if I can remember, I've got his name written down, Mr. Walton at White Pines Elementary Charter School. So this is kind of what happened last fall. He's teaching a course on the Revolutionary War. They talk about the revolution. They talk about the government, how it's getting set up, and they talk about how laws are set up. And then they started talking about Idaho, because in fourth grade, you study Idaho. They went through all of the state symbols in Idaho. And one of the young boys, and he is smart, and he knows his stuff about dinosaurs. He raised his hand and he says, Mr. Walton, why doesn't Idaho have a state symbol, a dinosaur, a state dinosaur? And Mr. Walton, he could have just, don't know, went on to his lesson, but he didn't. And this is the way most teachers are. He says, I don't know. Why don't we get a committee, the fourth grade committee, and have you guys discover why? And let's get another committee maybe to find out what would be a good dinosaur. And then he went a little step farther than that. He contacted ISU and talked to them and asked them if they had I think it's called a pathologist, I think, that studies dinosaurs. I could be wrong. Anyway, he asked them, he says, would you go and would you let us know what would be a good dinosaur for Idaho if we were to say we want a state dinosaur? And so ISU, Dr. Krummenacher, I've slaughtered that, I know I did, but it's close. Anyway, he called up and Dr. Krummenacher got a hold of him early this winter, January or February, and said, okay, I found the perfect dinosaur. If we were to have a state dinosaur, it really should be, and the Oryctodromus, I think that's how it says, Oryctodromus dinosaur. This dinosaur is the only dinosaur in Idaho that we have found a full skeleton attached. And they found several. It's a burrowing dinosaur. But they found that. And so the fourth grade, this committee come back and researched it, came back and presented this to the class of this is what they wanted to do. Again, these are fourth graders. Again, this teacher could have blew it off and said, I'll forget about it. I'm going to stick with my lesson schedule. This is what I have to teach you. But he didn't. He let these fourth graders go and research and find out. And then the committee come back and taught the kids. These kids then wrote, Representative Horman and myself, letters, and very, very detailed letters about why the Oryctodromus dinosaur should be a state dinosaur. And then Mr. Gotta find his name again, Walton, called me and he says, Senator Cook, would you come consider running a bill to have the Oryctodromus be the state dinosaur? And I says, absolutely. And I got all these letters and I read through all the letters from these kids and I still have the letters. They're incredible. Best handwriting you ever saw from a fourth grader. And so anyway, we went and had the bill wrote up, the legislation. And so Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday, we entered the classroom at White Pines Charter School. And we showed them the bill that we had written up. They presented their ideas to us. And it was an incredible day. So ISU Dr. Krummenacher was there. And we talked dinosaurs. We talked science. So these kids and this teacher took these kids from a subject that he was concentrating on and went full scale. Brought it all the way back to STEMs, which is where we want these kids involved with, is in science and technology. They're involved with our civil government. How do laws get made and who are our representatives? And it was incredible. And I'm telling you, that is what Idaho is about, is we have some awesome teachers. Now, could there be a bad one out there? Absolutely. Are there some really bad politicians? Absolutely. Are there bad software engineers? Yes. But we have some great, great teachers. And so some organizations like to paint teachers and use this big, broad brush and paint all teachers are terrible. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. We have some incredible teachers that do some great work here in Idaho, and Mr. Walton is one of those that went way beyond the call of what was expected of him as a fourth grade teacher. Anyway, it was an unbelievable day spending with the fourth graders. And science, they are on the ball. They are going to make some changes. You think about it, science is where it's got us to where we're at today, discovering and thinking outside the box. And so I'm excited what's happening with this fourth grade class. Okay. Later that night, we had an end of the session. So we went to CEI, College of Eastern Idaho. I was there with Representative Wendy Horman, Representative Gary Marshall, and myself, and we kind of presented, here's what the session was about. Here's some of our favorite highlights and some of the things that weren't so highlight. But we talked about some of the things that happened. We took filled some questions. They were good questions and good discussion, and I got to talk with them after we shut everything down. But overall, I think it went good. It wasn't as many as we wanted, but hopefully we will grow that. We will get the momentum going where we'll get you as Idaho, Bonneville County involved with the legislative session. I know we're all busy, but we need to get involved with that and figure out what's going on. I need you to get involved. I'm supposed to represent you, so I need to know what some of those issues are so that I can go back and represent you. Anyway, at the end of that, Representative Horman presented Representative Gary Marshall with an American flag that had been flown over the state capitol building and our nation's capitol building, and gave that to Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall has decided not to run again. He's retiring. He thinks he's too old, but we are going to miss him. He was a solid, conservative, constitutional guy that you could just count on. And so we will miss him a lot. Just a good man. So he's done. Let's see. Later that week, we met with INL and CEI. So BEA, which is, that is the company that manages Idaho National Laboratory. And they met with the College of Eastern Idaho. The two of them come together. And I was invited to be there. And this was a really neat opportunity. At this, the director of the INL, John Wagner, presented at CEI to President Rick Amon $1 million. Okay, this is coming from Bechtel, who manages the INL. Gave him $1 million check to support the partnership in education and workforce training over the next 5 years in its new CEI's Future Tech building. And so this is really big. Let me give you a quote. INL Director John Wagner said, he says, "This effort is so important to our community and our region. Together, CEI and INL will help give Eastern Idahos an opportunity to receive the training they need, not just to make a living, but also to help us change the world." And that is what's happening at the INL with this energy stuff that they're doing, the nuclear energy. And they're teaming up with education. Not just at higher levels, but they're actually getting down into K through 12. I talked with, oh heavens, can't remember her name now. Sharp lady. She's over the K-12 education for INL. So they're reaching down. They want to get involved. They want to have these kids trained up and be educated, skilled, that they can jump in and help with this nuclear stuff, nuclear and cybersecurity that's going on out at the INL. And so they're very much engaged in education. And as you know, I've talked many times about education, how I want to give greater educational opportunity for our children. So I'm excited about the INL teaming up with CEI to do this work. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Governor Brad Little was there. He was in attendance and he spoke. This is a big event, $1 million to help things get going. So later that week, I also had the opportunity to sit down and talk with some INL officials and some officials from the Department of Energy about where we're at with the nuclear reactors here in Idaho. And you know, we've got to do something about our power. We don't want to we want to get rid of this carbon footprint. Okay, and solar and wind is great, but you can't count on it 100%. I don't think we'll ever be able to create enough batteries to store the energy so that we can use that energy when the wind's not blowing in the sun. So nuclear reactors are the perfect matchup with solar and wind, because you can raise it up when you need more energy, or lower the rods when you need more energy, or raise it up when you don't need so much energy. You can count on the wind and the battery. One of the things I really found fascinating, though, is they have another nuclear reactor that they are hoping and believe and truly think they're on tap for it to bring up in December. Okay, and they have a scientist there, a doctor. His name is Yasser Arafat. Sound familiar? For those of my age anyway, you'll recognize that name. But this is a young man, not super young, he's probably in his 30s, but a scientist. He's from Bangladesh, very, very talented. He tells about how he woke up in the middle of the night when he was over here at the Idaho Falls, woke up and said, that's it. That's how I can make this micro reactor. And so the next morning, I think he said he went to Staples or somewhere and got some great big paper and color pencils, and he put it on his wall and he started sketching everything out, how he wanted to build this. And then he took it and he presented it to the INL scientists. Says, this is how we're going to build a microreactor. And they bought off on it, says this is good. And so he's been working on this for a couple of years. And so come December, they really believe that he will be able to fire that thing up and have it ready. Things are happening in the nuclear world that's really exciting. We're seeing some things really take off, and we need that. And then really cool thing is it's here in Idaho Falls. It's in our backyard. It's safe. It's renewable, and we need kids trained to be able to work not only in the nuclear field but also in the support, the technology, the science, all of that. So STEMs. And INL is paying a price to help get our kids ready, and so it's wonderful. The Department of Defense, they announced last week of a nuclear project to build a reactor and a reactor fuel outside of the state. They'll bring that in and they'll put it together and test it here in Idaho. And so that's another huge announcement for us happening there. Anyway, I am excited about where we're going. I'm excited about education. As your senator, I'm asking you to vote, to give me your vote on May 17th. I am passionate about education. INL is a partnership with CEI, and CEI is not just higher education. They're reaching down as well for our dual credits to help our kids get education. Education is big, and that's where I'm at. I want to help these kids and get them on board. Tell you a few things other that I'm just really want to work on, so you know who I am and what I stand for. Property taxes, it's still hurting my wallet, and I know it's hurting yours too. We've done a little bit of good on that this past session. It's not enough. We need to continue to look at that. We've come up with some different ideas, and some look promising, and some said, no, that's not going to work. And we need you involved with that and voice your opinion that that's not going to work. But there's some ideas on that on the table still that we're looking at. Our growth here in Idaho Falls is humongous. We need to work with county officials, and which I do work with. Whenever there's a bill that seems like it affects our counties, I'm always texting or calling or emailing John Walker and Brian Reed and Roger Christensen, and they are great people to get back. And I don't believe that they just make something off the cuff. I think they really think about it, they talk about it before they give me an answer, and so I appreciate that. I spend a lot of time getting information from my constituents, whether they're doctors or lawyers or plumbers, what field of industry they're in, whether they're the mayor, county commissioner, treasurer. Those are the experts. And so I reach out to find out where we stand to see if this will hurt us or if this will be good. Should I vote for it? Should I not? And of course, I need to hear from you as well. And so I appreciate your emails, your phone calls, and your texts. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think those are the three big issues that we're facing. One is education, property tax, and growth. And those are the things that I'm trying to focus on and see if we can get some answers to and help. So, okay, I need to go back and visit with the family and friends. I just snuck out for this and get back to them. But so the morning trivia question, okay? I said Idaho National Laboratory is the world leader in nuclear, and it is. And it's exciting what we have right here in our backyard. They have over 500 doctors, doctorate degrees working on this research. And over the lifetime of the laboratory, the INL, the question is how many reactors were built and ran here on the lab? Was it 10, 35, 52, or 78? Okay, the answer is 52. We have had 52 nuclear reactors right here at the lab in our backyard. And there's many, many more to come. Many on the books that are making plans to start them up. So it's an exciting time to be in the nuclear industry and to be involved here in Idaho Falls. So I have lots and lots of campaign signs. I would love to get out if you would like one. Or if you don't like one and you'll still let me put one on your yard, I would love to hear from you. I would love to put some campaign signs in your yard, and I'd love to hear from you. If you've got some more questions or issues, or you just think I've missed the boat, I'd love to hear from what you're thinking about. But anyway, have a great, great Saturday. I hope that all is well, that you have a great weekend. And if you're not busy, I'll give you some more signs and let you go out and find a place to put them. I'll need some help putting signs out, so if you got time, let me know. Anyway, have a great weekend. I will talk to you later. See ya.